mentioned, and it's Lieutenant General Seitz, who spent virtually his entire military career commanding airborne troops. He came to Toccoa and was put to work as the S3 of the 3rd Battalion, or maybe possibly the 2nd Battalion. In any event, Lou Walsh recognized this young captain right away and gave him, as a captain, the command of the 2nd Battalion. He got a couple of promotions before the war was over, stayed in the Army, although his father had a good Kansas dairy that he could have inherited. He stayed with the Army, stayed with troops his entire career, except he confessed to me the other day he did spend 3-4 years in the Pentagon. So, recently, since you're no guest. We welcome you and look forward to what you have to say.
Thank you very much, Howard, for those kind remarks, and you were more than generous. But I appreciate one thing, you kept saying Dick rather than damn thing and listen to the program. Our guests from Belgium and France, and men of the 517th, and families and friends. It's with a great deal of pride and respect that I join you on this occasion. Pride in being a member of this great combat team, and respect for each and every member of the combat team and your families. I'm deeply conscious of the honor which is mine in having been invited by Howard to speak on this occasion, but frankly I'm overwhelmed at the thought of finding adequate words to fill the occasion, because your role is very important. You are the guardians of the legacy of this great combat team. What I'd like to do, first I want to remind the men of the 517th how good you were. And you were damn good. And secondly, I'd like to, for the families and the friends to recap what the 517th is and what these great men of the 517th did. I've been around the airborne, as you all know, a lot. But for 60 years, I've been saying that the men of the 517th are the finest that ever pulled on a pair of jump boots. You are the cream of our nation. You've heard me say it. The cream of our nation. Strong, hardy, full of vigor, courage, and sometimes mischievous. And you come from the cities, the towns, and the farms throughout our great country, and you came together in 1943, together with your cadres from the 506 and other units, to form the 517th Parachute Infantry, the 460th Field Artillery Battalion, and C Company of the 139th Engineers, which later on became the 596. You came together and formed not only great units, but units that had a unique situation. They were unique in the way they selected the people, unique in training, and unique in operation. Most of you, but not all of you, went direct from the induction center to Toccoa. And the very first day you arrived at Toccoa, you were challenged physically and mentally by Boom Boom Alecki. You all know Boom Boom. You met that challenge. And then you were interviewed. And you know that most of those who arrived at Toccoa with you did not make the cut. Tom Cross and I interviewed over 3,000 people to get 780. Gives you an idea. And Tom said, Dick, we're not looking for brawn, we're looking for heart, spirit, and tenacity. And you men had it. After you were selected, then it was into basic training, conducted by the academy. And the basic training was tough. Every morning a run before breakfast, and then a run up and down Prairie Heat. And then at the end of the day, to top it off, a 5-mile speed march with full field equipment. And it was demanding. Not only did you qualify with your own individual weapon, but you fired and became familiar with every weapon in your unit. At the end of about 14 weeks, as I recall, you got your first pair of jump boots. Then it was off to Fort Benning for parachute qualifications. And that course was tough. But because of your physical fitness and your spirit, for most of you it was a piece of cake. A challenge for those instructors. Everybody that went to Benning, to my knowledge, finished a first at Benning. And each of you jumped with the steel pot, the first of any class. With the 5 jumps on your belt and the wings on your chest, proudly on your chest, it was back to McCall for lots of unit training, parachute jumping, culminating in a mass parachute jump, you remember in January 44, I guess it was, in the Southern Pines area. The thing I remember about that jump was it was nice and warm when you jumped, but within 5 or 6 hours it was cold, rain, sleet, and snow, and you carried on in good order. And then in, I think, February, it was off to Tennessee for maneuvers with the 17th Airborne Division. Tennessee was cold, rainy, and muddy. And I remember that night when we made the forced march all night in the rain, the muddy road, with that mosquito net on our head. We were practicing malaria control.